According to the 2024 Global Wealth Report, the top 1% of the world's wealthiest people control 45% of global wealth. And the remaining 99% of the population of the world control less than 60% of the total wealth worldwide. Have you ever wondered why many people do not get ahead financially despite working very hard at a job, receiving bonuses, commissions, raises, and promotions? For many, it feels like they are spinning their wheels, working very hard, chasing financial freedom, never escaping the hamster wheel of work, stress, and bills. Here's the truth. The system is designed to be a zero-sum game. Many of us are living an outdated manuscript. Cash is no longer valuable. Cash is no longer king. Cash is trash. We have been made to believe that this is money. So for many of us, we exchange our lives, we exchange our freedom, working for this. And all too often, many find out when it's too late that they have exchanged their lives, they have exchanged their freedom for something that wasn't worth it. This, or the paper in your pocket, which we call money, is like cotton candy. At first sight, it looks beautiful, it looks valuable, but just like cotton candy, as the wind blows, vanishes before your eyes. In this video, we will uncover the real truth about money and the money secrets of the ultra-rich so that you can begin rewriting your manuscript to escape the rat race and build true financial wealth. Hey, this is Gabriel from the Real Success Life Academy channel, where we empower you with personal leadership and financial skills so you can live a life of true financial freedom and balance. And if you want to find true financial freedom, live a life of balance and joy, make sure to subscribe and share this channel with your friends, colleagues, and family. And make sure to leave a comment and hit the like button. And by the way, I have put together a free resource if you want to begin to plan your life and make your life a masterpiece. We have a free resource for you, the 8 most important areas of life you must plan. The link is in the description below. Make sure you get that free download so you can begin to make your life a masterpiece. Now let's dive in. To understand the present and prepare for the future, it's important that we look at our past. George Orwell once said, the most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. To destroy a people, all you have to do is to destroy their understanding of their history. And for many of us, we do not understand the origins of what we have in our hands. We do not understand the origins of the paper in our pockets, which we call money. So before we go into the wealth secrets, let me share with you a brief history of the origin of modern banking. Over the past years, gold and silver have been considered real money because they represented real value. These commodities have intrinsic value. However, in the 17th century, during the origin of the modern banking system, goldsmiths played a very important role in the evolution of paper money. You see, merchants and wealthy individuals had to carry heavy gold coins and silver coins over long distances in order to trade. Over time, these merchants deposited their gold coins with the goldsmiths. And these goldsmiths handed over a paper receipt to these merchants as evidence of the deposit of gold coins that they had with these goldsmiths who had secured vaults. So it happened that over time, people began to get used to these paper receipts. They began to exchange the paper receipts among themselves. They found it handy. They found it less cumbersome. They found it safer. So the merchants deposited their gold coins with the goldsmiths and traded among themselves with these paper receipts. The goldsmiths soon realized that not all the merchants came back for their gold coins at the same time. So they decided to loan out some of the gold they had in their vaults to others who needed money. And with that, they issued more paper receipts. So you can imagine there were now more paper receipts out there than there was gold in their vaults. This was the beginning of what we call today the fractional reserve banking. Banks usually will loan out more money than they have in their vault because of trust and belief that not everyone who has deposited money in the bank will all come for it at the same time. So you see, the issuance of these paper receipts were left in the hands of goldsmiths. Eventually, governments and central banks took over the issuance of these paper receipts, and this transitioned into the banknotes as we have it today. Originally, these banknotes were supported by gold. Every banknote you had out there was supported by an equivalent amount of gold. The paper you had in your hand could be exchanged for gold. By the 20th century, all countries abandoned that system that we call the gold standard because it was restrictive. So no longer was any country backing their currency with gold. So then, the currency we had in our hands turned to fiat. Fiat is a Latin word which just means an authoritative order. So the paper note that we have in our hands today that many of us consider money is only as valuable as the order, the decree of a government. Assuming a country decides that they are changing all their notes and they give you 6 months to exchange all your old notes for a new one, and you forget or refuse, you could have a room full of those old currencies, but those banknotes will not be different from paper, mere paper. Because if you look carefully at each banknote, it has a statement that this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. That is the fiat order. It becomes criminal for anyone to take a piece of paper and decide that the piece of paper he has taken and colored is money. It can only be done by one body, the central banks and governments. So this is not money. The paper currency, the paper note in your pocket or in your wallet is not money. It is fiat money. It is fiat currency. It is only as valuable as the government or the current or the central bank that issued it. All fiat currencies fail. From biblical times till date, fiat currencies fail. We all remember the story of Zimbabwe. At a point, that country was printing 100 trillion Zimbabwean dollar note. The money kept devaluing and devaluing. So my question is, why do you exchange your time, your freedom, your life for something whose value is determined by someone else? At the stroke of a pen, the value could vanish. It's like cotton candy. You hold it in your hands, it looks good, but with time, it vanishes. That's what happens to many of us. So the script many of us are living by is to work hard for this. We exchange our freedom, we exchange our time for this, only for the value to be reduced. And the value reduces by a system we call inflation. So despite your raises, despite your bonuses, with time, it's a zero-sum game. It is not that prices are increasing. A bar of gold 10 years ago is still a bar of gold. A bar of chocolate 50 years ago is still a bar of chocolate. It's not the chocolate that is changing. It is the value of your money that is reducing. So we don't say there are price increases, but rather it is the value of your money that is decreasing. Central banks and governments increase money supply. And when there is an increase in money supply, there is inflation. And the value of your money goes down. Prices go up. You are able to buy fewer goods. So here are a couple of things that we should take note of. Number one, the paper note or coin in your pocket has no intrinsic value. It is worthless. Its value is determined by the central bank or the government. Number two, governments and central banks control the value of the fiat money. What you hold in your hands, what you are storing away, what you are saving, their value is being controlled by the central bank. It's being controlled by a third party and not you. You are not in control. Number three, fiat money cannot be stored. Unlike gold, unlike silver, you can't store fiat money. Many of us may have heard this truth. Do not save money. But the script out there is save money. And many people find it confusing. You see, there is a balance. There is a certain minimum or optimum amount of cash that each and every one of us needs. Above that, you don't need to save it. You save it at your peril. It's like holding cotton candy. You are holding it, but its value is decreasing. What you worked hard for, the value is being reduced. This is the reason why the 99% do not get ahead. You cannot get ahead trapped in the system. So what do? How do we write our own manuscript? How do we escape the rat race? Here are 4 ways to write our manuscript so we can escape the rat race. Number 1, educate yourself. Invest in yourself. Many people will rather hoard cash than educate their minds because they think cash is more valuable than knowledge. But you see, when you have knowledge, you are able to generate more of what you need. You are not at the mercy of the person who is giving you the cash. You need knowledge. You need experience. So do not work for money. Work for experience. Don't give me a fish. Teach me how to fish. So to begin writing your money story or your manuscript is to educate yourself. If you are at a job, work not for the money, work for the experience. Don't work for the money, but work to gain a skill, work to gain knowledge so you can also be a producer. Don't give me fish. Teach me how to fish. When you invest in yourself, you increase in knowledge, you are able to develop systems where you can make more money, manage it, multiply it, and invest it wisely. So you are not at the mercy of the system. Number 2, invest in assets. Don't just save. Many people pride themselves in the amount of cash that they have in their bank accounts. Yes, you may be happy looking at the cash in your bank account. The only people who are happy is the bank. On your personal balance sheet, that cash may be an asset to you, but truly it's a liability. On the balance sheet of a bank, it's a liability. They understand something you don't. Buy assets. Invest in assets. Don't hold cash. Instead of working for money, let your money begin working. Number 3, develop cash flowing investment systems. And what I mean by that is to develop systems that generate cash passively. Until we get to the point where we can generate cash passively, you cannot escape the system because there is a limit to the number of hours you can work. There is a limit to your strength. But if you develop a system, that system is able to generate cash with or without you. And that is how the ultra wealthy make their money. They generate passive income systems that are able to generate cash for them. Number 4, understand and use debt wisely. Debt is not a bad thing. There are 2 types of debt. There is good debt and there is bad debt. as much as possible, we should avoid bad debt. And when I say bad debt, any consumer debt is bad. Consumer debt is any loan that you borrow for lifestyle. You borrow to pay rent, you borrow to buy food, you borrow to go on vacation, you borrow to buy clothes, you borrow to buy a shoe, you borrow to buy a car. All consumer debt is bad debt because it drives you deeper and traps you. To escape the system, you need to move to the side of good debt. Good debt is when debt is used to acquire assets, and those assets generate enough cash flow to pay the debt by themselves. So we must understand and use debt wisely. Wealthy know how to use debt, and they are rewarded for using debt. So do not work for money. Do not work for fiat money. It is like cotton candy. You work for something whose value is determined by someone else. Escape that system. Put your money to work immediately. Treat cash as hot potatoes in your hands. As soon as you have it, invest it. Invest it in knowledge. Invest it in acquiring financial education. Invest it in assets. Invest it in building passive income systems. Invest it in a business. So do not work for money. Rather, let money work for you. Build wealth by investing in real assets which generate wealth and act as a store of value for you. Let me know in the comments section which assets could act as a store of value for you and your family. Put it in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.